There's a certain type of man who instantly creates tension when he walks into a room, especially around women. He's not rude. He's not arrogant. He's not even trying to be distant. But something about his energy just triggers people, especially at first. This is the Sigma male, the guy who doesn't follow anyone's lead but his own. While alpha males fight for attention and beta males look for approval, the Sigma moves quietly on his own path, and that throws people off. He's not trying to be mysterious. He's not playing games. He's just real. And that alone breaks a lot of unspoken rules in the dating world. Women often don't know how to react, so they pull back or even feel turned off. But here's the twist. The same things that push people away at first are the exact traits that draw them in later. So what's really going on here? Why do women often hate Sigma males when they first meet them, only to later find themselves drawn in? Let's dive into the 6 traits that make women push Sigma males away at first glance, and why those same traits end up haunting their thoughts later. Number 1. They don't chase, and that feels like rejection. We all know the dance, the careful back and forth of new attraction, the subtle chase that reassures us we're wanted, until we meet someone who doesn't play along. The first time a woman meets a Sigma male, something feels off. The expected chase doesn't happen. The reassuring pursuit never begins. And in that absence, something uncomfortable rises to the surface. Is it rejection? Is it disinterest? Is it arrogance? It is none of the above. But try telling that to her instincts. See, most interactions follow an invisible script we've all memorized without realizing it. Someone chases, someone retreats. Someone texts first, someone waits to respond. These patterns aren't just habits. They're confirmation, validation, proof that we matter. The Sigma breaks this pattern not because he's trying to, but because he simply doesn't operate that way. He approaches connections as equal exchanges from the start. Either there's mutual interest or there isn't. The chase feels like an artificial game he has no interest in playing. But here's where it gets complicated. That missing chase creates a vacuum where insecurity rushes in. When he doesn't double text or push for her number or seem thrown off by her momentary distance, it triggers questions she wasn't prepared to ask. Am I not interesting enough? Is he seeing someone else? Does he think he's too good for me? Yet what initially feels like cold rejection often transforms with time. As the initial disappointment fades, something unexpected happens. His lack of chase begins to feel refreshing rather than insulting. His honesty, once mistaken for distance, begins to feel rare. And the very thing that pushed her away becomes the quiet pull she can't explain later. Number 2. They walk away if something smells fishy. It's that moment. The conversation is flowing. Connection seems promising. Then something happens, a comment, a behavior, a small inconsistency that most people would brush off. But he doesn't brush it off. He notices, and something shifts in his eyes, almost imperceptible, but there. The warmth cools just a degree or two. The engagement pulls back slightly. He's still there physically, but something has changed. What just happened? For most people, red flags are negotiable. We see them, we question them, but we often talk ourselves out of our own instincts. Maybe we misunderstood. Maybe it's not that serious. Maybe it will be different this time. A Sigma male doesn't negotiate with red flags, not the serious ones. Not the ones he's seen play out before. It's not about being perfect. Everyone has flaws, and he knows his own all too well. But there are certain warning signs that experience has taught him to recognize instantly. Manipulation tactics, character inconsistencies, signs of disrespect that others might miss. When he spots these, something primordial clicks into place. The decision is made before he even consciously processes it. And women feel this shift. The wall that wasn't there a moment ago. The subtle retreat that leaves them wondering what went wrong. Was it something I said? Something I did? Often, he won't even explain, because experience has also taught him that people who show red flags rarely acknowledge them when pointed out. So instead of arguing or trying to fix what he knows can't be fixed, he simply withdraws. Not always completely, not always immediately, but enough that the trajectory changes. Sometimes you can't even explain why something feels wrong. You just know you've seen this movie before, and you already know how it ends. The funny twist is that the exact behavior that infuriates women at first often becomes their reason for returning. Seeing someone walk away without drama or desperate attempts to hold on creates a strange magnetic pull. It's not psychology, it's human nature. We rarely value what's freely given, but we never forget what was confidently withheld. Number 3. Their honesty feels too blunt. The moment hangs in the air, that split second after a question is asked, where most people instinctively reach for the kind, expected answer. But he doesn't. Instead, the truth comes out, unfiltered, unprocessed, without the social buffer that usually softens life's sharper edges. Not mean-spirited, not designed to hurt, but raw in a way most people aren't prepared for. We've all been conditioned to communicate through a series of polite filters. We round off the edges of difficult truths. We find gentler ways to say hard things. We understand that sometimes the packaging matters as much as the message itself. A Sigma male approaches honesty differently. The filters that most people use automatically, he uses selectively or not at all. It's not about lacking manners or being deliberately harsh. It's about valuing clarity over comfort, substance over style. In his mind, dancing around an issue or dressing it up in pretty words feels dishonest, even manipulative. Why not just say what needs to be said? But this directness creates friction. In a social world built on careful diplomacy, his straightforward approach feels jarring, even rude. The contrast between what's expected and what's delivered creates immediate tension. Is he always this blunt? Does he not care about feelings? Is he doing this on purpose? The irony is that his honesty often comes from a place of respect. He's not treating people like delicate flowers that need protection from reality. He's treating them like equals who can handle the truth. But most people aren't used to truths served without cushioning. They take the directness personally, as if the absence of social padding is itself a form of aggression. Strange how things come full circle. Ask most women about their past relationships, and many will say, "I wish he'd just told me the truth." The very directness they once rejected becomes exactly what they seek. Brutal honesty hurts at first, then becomes the foundation they build everything else upon. Number 4. They're not easily impressed. She waits for the reaction, the subtle widening of eyes, the impressed nod, the validation that yes, what she just shared is indeed remarkable. But it doesn't come. Instead, there's a calm acknowledgement, a measured response that feels underwhelming. Not dismissive, not negative, just neutral. As if what she thought would land as extraordinary barely registered as unusual. In a culture where exaggerated reactions have become the norm, where everything is amazing or incredible or mind-blowing, the Sigma male's measured response feels almost cold. We've become so used to enthusiastic validation that its absence feels like criticism. But his response isn't about withholding approval. It's about honesty, about maintaining a consistent standard that doesn't inflate based on social pressure or expectation. Think about how often we overreact to ordinary things, how we've created a world where everything must be met with excessive enthusiasm, where accomplishments aren't real unless they're celebrated, where experiences aren't valid unless someone else affirms them. A Sigma male steps outside this pattern. He saves his real amazement for things that actually blow him away, his admiration for things that genuinely deserve it, not because he's stingy with compliments, but because he cares more about being real than putting on a show. This measured approach often reads as judgment, as if his failure to be appropriately impressed is a direct criticism. But it's actually the opposite. It's about choosing not to join the overhype and constant exaggeration that have made it harder to truly appreciate things. Most women initially hate this response. Then comes the moment that changes everything. When he genuinely is impressed by something she does or says. That rare, authentic appreciation hits differently than the automatic praise others give. The reaction she once resented becomes the one that matters most precisely because she had to earn it. Number 5. They're difficult to read. She searches his face for clues, for those tiny tells that usually reveal what someone is thinking, feeling, planning. The subtle shifts most people can't help but show. But there's nothing. Just calm waters with no ripples to follow. The usual signposts aren't there, and the uncertainty creates a strange tension. Most people leak emotions constantly. Their feelings play across their faces like movies on a screen. Joy, disappointment, attraction, irritation, all visible to anyone paying attention. It's how we navigate social waters, reading these cues to adjust our own behavior. A Sigma shows none of this, not because he's emotionless, but because his feelings stay internal until he deliberately chooses to express them. It's not an act or a game, it's his natural state. A quiet containment that doesn't need external validation or release. This emotional privacy creates immediate discomfort. We're used to reading people, to knowing where we stand. When we can't, it triggers a primal uncertainty. The mystery creates a strange power imbalance. She feels exposed, readable, while he remains a closed book. It's like playing poker with someone who has no tells while your own cards are face up on the table. Yet this same quality that initially frustrates often becomes intriguing over time. When everyone else is an open book, the one person you can't easily read becomes the most interesting page. What starts as irritation slowly transforms into curiosity, then fascination. The very thing that pushed her away at first, his unreadable nature, eventually pulls her back with unexpected force. Number 6. They don't give compliments easily. Most people exchange compliments like currency. Research shows the average person gives or receives around 5 to 6 compliments daily, most without genuine thought behind them. When a woman meets a Sigma male, this familiar exchange hits a wall, not because he's trying to be rude, but because he operates on a different system altogether. For him, compliments aren't social lubricant or automatic responses. They're honest observations that should carry actual weight. He doesn't sprinkle them through conversation to make things run smoothly. He saves them for moments when he genuinely feels something deserves recognition. This creates immediate tension. When a compliment doesn't arrive at the expected moment, it feels like criticism by omission. The silence where praise would normally be seems deliberate, even hostile. It's not that he never gives compliments. He does, but they're rare, specific, and absolutely real. He might notice qualities others miss entirely, while staying silent about the obvious things everyone else praises. This selectivity initially reads as coldness or judgment. It creates a sense of having to earn his approval rather than receiving it automatically. Yet over time, this same trait transforms. When he finally does offer praise, it carries a weight that empty compliments never could. The words she initially wished to hear become far more valuable precisely because they weren't freely given. If something in this video stuck with you, hit the like button and drop your thoughts in the comments. For more content like this, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for being here. Stay strong and keep evolving.